Welcome to Connecting Greeks, a streaming comedy show and podcast designed to explore and enhance Greek culture around the world. Join hosts Angelo, Adi, and Foti as they bring you fun and interesting guests from all walks of Greek life. Grab a cafedaki and join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Connecting Greeks podcast. I am Ari, and I am here with two of my favorite people. First off, Foti Stamos. How are you, Foti?
I'm good, and yourself, Ari?
I'm very good, especially when the big man is with us. Angelo Tsaroukas, what's up, man?
Hey, Foti. Hey, Adi. Good to see you guys. Washington, Boston, LA connections. I hope you guys are good.
We're very good, thank you.
Very excited about today's guest.
Yes.
Is a personal friend of mine. I'm going to tell you something. I was on a flight coming back from New York to LA, and I'm on the plane, and I put on this film called Black Warrant with Tom Berenger. And who do I see playing one of the bad guys? Peter Nikkos. And he was great in it. I really was. I was like, you know, sometimes if I want to sleep on the airplane, I watch those films. But then I saw him come out. He plays this character, kind of a drug trafficker, human trafficker guy. But it was really well played. It was a really nice role. And you're going to get to know more about this man. Peter Nikkos, welcome to Connecting Greeks, Peter. Welcome.
Χαίρετε, Ευάγγελο. Άρη, Φώτη, χάρηκα πάρα πολύ. Θα αλλάξω στα αγγλικά. Πρέπει να τα παίζω για να με καταλάβετε λίγο καλύτερα. It is a pleasure to be on the show, and I want to thank you all very, very much.
Thank
I
you.
have to keep working on my English. Sometimes I make words that, but I hope it is okay. One moment, please. Am I shiny? I have my makeup artist right here.
Who is that?
How's your dog? What's your dog's name again?
We get the Tula.
Tula.
Her Tula.
What a cutie, Tula.
We have many.
Tula, eat something. Remember,
gentlemen, I've been wanting to use my Midwestern accent. May I try it with you?
Absolutely. I try.
Is it better if I speak this way, guys?
Yeah. You sound like you're from Chicago.
Wait, is that for real? Like, that's not how you
Is
sound?
it a good accent?
Fucking around with us.
Is he really?
I think you convinced Adi.
Oh my God, you guys are the best. I appreciate you so
and he
much.
clicked right into a Midwestern accent. I'm like, wow, that's really good. No wonder he's
Oh my God, I appreciate you so much, guys. Thank you for having me.
No, this
I
is
told Andrew
fun.
to mess with the guys a little bit. He said, "Go for it."
Adi was convinced.
It's so funny because I'm like, wow, how is he in like all these movies when he has like such a thick accent? He must get typecasted. And then you're like, let me speak Midwestern. I'm like,
That's
wow.
like that. That was great.
But yeah, Yamas.
Yamas.
Mastica εδώ, a new brand I heard about called Kleos. The lady that made it is fantastic. It's fantastic. Yamas.
Shout out to
I have one you get after divorce. It's called Cleo.
Kleos.
Take all your money away from you. But
I love it.
Hey,
That's the follow-up.
Peter,
Yes,
I loved you in that film.
Thank you.
I know you've done a lot of film work. You're great. I'm going back to when I first met you. It was a few years ago at St. Sophia. You messaged me. There was this reading. We were doing like a table reading thing. I think it was for Louis' script. It was about that battalion.
Louis Anastas. Yes.
Louis Anastas. And guys, there was a battalion. I didn't know this. It's a true story. There was a battalion of Greek Americans that went in World War II to Greece to fight the Germans.
Wow.
Right, Peter? It was a real thing.
That's exactly right. Behind the lines, they were dropped in to basically work with the guerrillas there. And Louis wrote a really nice script, but a battalion, you've got a ton of male roles and a few female roles. And this was right around maybe a year or two after I just got into LA from Chicago.
Right.
And excuse me, by the way, do you guys swear on this show?
You
do you want? Yeah.
Like.
Fuck it, I'm going to swear. I
But
swear.
direct all the swears to Angelo.
Ella Poliora. So I said, fuck it. I'd like to do this script. I'd met Louis at St. Sophia's. So I said, who are the best people in town maybe to reach out to or to get to know or whatever. And, I believe in forgiveness over permission. So I started just fucking calling everybody and asking and this and that. We got a group together of some really good Greek actors, Greek American actors. But this fucker right here, Angelo, had just come back from Australia Was it the night before?
And I think the night before, yeah.
The night before, still shows up, still gets it done. And to be honest with you, a couple of, shall they remain nameless, Greek Americans bailed at the last minute. So I love this guy. That's
how we became friends. It was good.
We're cousins, aren't we?
I think so. There's a Sparty connection because when we were figuring it out in Greece.
Yeah.
But it was good and it was great because Louis is a great guy, wrote that script. I think John Capellos, who's been a guest on Connecting Greeks, John was there, great guy. And that's where I got to meet Peter. And it's interesting to meet Peter because it makes me smile, when I get a pleasant surprise like that. And I ended up watching it twice because I really liked it a lot. And your role was great because
you was a Turk, by the way.
You played a Turkish guy who was like a
sort of money launderer for terrorists.
Who likes like young girls and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And we shot that in Tijuana, and I got to work with one of my early acting heroes, which is Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, I saw Platoon. Like we all do.
I was going to say, amazing movie.
Yeah, and Berenger's fucking evil and amazing in that. But the week or two before, I'd seen him in some made-for-TV movie. And he was playing like a next-door dad, really nice guy. And I walk into the movie, and I walked out of there with 3 changes in my life. The first thing I said is, fucking war sucks. I don't want to be part of war. Because before growing up, because I'm from Greece, born in Greece, raised in Chicago, I thought John Wayne, good guys always win, blah, blah, blah. The second thing was, movies change people, cinema, TV, good stories, inform, entertain, transport, whatever you want to call it. And then lastly, I said, how the fuck did he do that? He was a nice guy one day, and he's this evil personification of Satan on the other. And that got me started because I was playing soccer at that time. I actually played a very high level soccer. And I thought, I gotta do this, man. So it started there. And here I am, almost not full circle, but 180 here in Hollywood, Tijuana to be exact, working with this guy. And Ange knows what happens to me in the film, but you guys got to check it out to find out.
You got to check it out. Now, yeah. Peter, back up for a sec. So Were you not scouted as a professional player in Greece, soccer player? I
was out of a small school in Chicago called North Park, and did a little bit of that, came back, worked for Nike, and then I went to work and played a little bit in the Chicago Fire System, the MLS team. And then from there, as they say, like all of us, led a lot of lives doing different things, technology, and worked for Starbucks, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, it's the same kind of skill sets, right? You believe in something, you want to share it with people. And even if they don't understand it, you got to find a way to present it and be honest and authentic about it, And it reminds me of a conversation I have with people. They say, aren't actors just liars? And I say, no, it's really quite different. A liar knows they're lying. They're trying to fool you. If an actor's doing it right, then they're in that place where they believe what they're doing and the audience believes what they're doing. So they're not being deceitful. They're being authentic for that role, for that story. And when you do that right, we hope to do that whenever. And Angelo's been amazing in some things he's done. The audience forgets who you are. They're like, I fucking hate that guy. You're the nicest guy in the world because they played an evil character. So yeah, and that was, we're Greeks. We're storytellers. We started what I like to say, and I ask people to prove me wrong, organized storytelling. It's not just around about a fire. It's not just about at the house from the Papuda Yaya. It's let's get some people together and tell some stuff, and it's been the hardest, best thing I've ever done in my life. And when you're a 5'8" goalkeeper working to be professional, that's why my nose looks this way, by the way, guys. You better to fucking do your thing, man. You got to work hard and you got to control what you can control and just try to live life in a good way, but make good mistakes too,
Now,
anyway,
thanks, Ange. We're going to talk about your acting, but there's something here. And this is why I love this guy. And I'm going to tell the story right now. It's the right time to tell a story. And he's a man of philotimo. So a couple of years ago, there was a Special Olympics team from Greece coming to LA. Peter remembers this.
Yeah, they had the Special Olympics in LA.
Special Olympics. Right. And these guys came to LA and there wasn't much happening for them. So I get a call from Peter and his wife, Eva.
It was the two Greek soccer teams, the men's and women's soccer teams. It wasn't the whole Greek Olympic team.
Sorry, the teams. Sorry.
Right.
And I get a call from Peter late at night, and he goes, Ange, we got the soccer teams are here. I think I want to say they were staying at UCLA.
They're staying at UCLA, but they would happen to be playing in Encino, where I lived at the time with Eva, my wife Eva, and we happened to see them and went to see the games. And as you could tell, I'm a shy person, so I talked to the coaches a little bit, got to know what's going on. Anjan knows the story from there. So
great. So what happened? Peter calls and goes, there's nothing for these. They're not doing much for the kids. And I will say this: you rallied the troops, Peter. You made the calls. Daphne Valentino's a lot of us.
It was a great.
Costa Mangalore was there too. I think. Peter rallied, and I thought to myself, because you're in a big city like LA, and there's not many Greeks,
right?
And we
spread out. We're spread out.
We took them for lunch at the Great Greek. They took them. You got them. I want to say passes to go see Universal or Warner Brothers Studios.
Right.
We all came together quickly. Like they didn't have anything planned.
It was literally overnight. We had like 4 vans. We had people contributing food. We had people contributing tickets. We had people contributing their time to show these kids who came to represent our home country, Mother Greece, in the best way they could. But unfortunately, whatever resources or I don't know what, the teams were basically housed in LA. And then it was up to the coaches, whoever else they knew, to kind of show them around a little bit. So they were kind of stuck playing and doing nothing. And Eva, my wife, I know Angelo thinks he is, but the best part of my life is my wife, Eva, and next to Tula over here.
Of course.
Spartiatissima. I'm like, fuck it. Are you kidding me? We got to do something.
And you know what? I give you credit. And it was amazing because, I thought to myself, wow, these kids, special needs, most of them, Special Olympics. Bless you, Adi. And poor Adi's got a cold.
Bless
you know what? We came together. And you know what? It showed me a lot of character. And we've said this before in the show, guys, regardless of what you do, whether you're an actor, whether you're a businessman, a singer, songwriter, whatever. I mean, it's nice to have talent, but it's also good to have Filotimo. And Peter Nikkos, you have Filotimo. And I'll say this, and you probably forgot about this. And I thought about it, when I was stuck in Coldwater Canyon, and I said, this to me encompasses who we are. So that's the kind of passion you bring to your work. But we have Filotimo, and I'm stressing the word Filotimo because the world needs more of it right now.
Well, yes.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was one of the best experiences. It brought people that didn't know each other from the Greek community together a little bit. Plus, we got to know some people, some really amazing coaches and other people that were taking care of these kids who we're still friends with. And when I was in Greece a few years ago with my wife, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We got together with them and still stay in touch. Every once in a while, it's like, potergios espisos in helada and all this kind of thing. So bottom line, and here's the funny part, Angela, I'm going to kind of bring it full circle. Back then, and I love acting first and foremost. They always need an okay looking guy to stand next to the handsome guys like you guys. So they call me in, for that. So anyways, so my wife back then goes, you should think about being a producer or a director. And I go, come on, Eva, my ego demands you got to show off this nose on camera, So I'm kind of bringing it a little bit full circle because Ange and I, when we talk, he knows about some stuff I'm working on now. And it's funny how these things work out and we end up sooner than later sometimes playing to our strengths that we don't know we have. I'll put it that way. So,
right. No, it was good. And the thing is, right now, as you know, guys, right now, we're still in a strike in Hollywood, Screen Actors Guild.
Angelo, they just sent out emails. Sorry for interrupting.
Sure.
I just got the email that there's a tentative agreement that's being reviewed. Yes.
Are we breaking this on?
I think people heard we're doing the podcast, and they said we just broke it on international TV, whatever you want to call it.
So I didn't get the email yet, but it's like, well, I hope so. It's been 5.5 months.
It's been tough. Cero pedia,
I hope so.
Connections.
Because, guys, LA's been a shit show. 5.5 months. First it was the writers got off. Now it's the actors. That's why there's nothing been going on. It's a down effect. It affects dry cleaners, restaurants, security. It affects everybody in this thing. So I'm happy.
The very last thing I read about, and you guys maybe can tell us a little more, the last holdout or one of the last holdouts was that they want to pay an actor at a certain level for their like scan, but then they can use that forever without ever paying the actor or his estate. Like, I mean, that sounds
there's actually
to me.
There's two sides to that too. It's that, and they pay you once, they've got your image, and then they use it in however long they want without paying you. Number one, and number two, it was made public that the studios are also working on taking the images of dead actors and using them in projects. Which is fucking crazy and wrong. And then the third big thing, the second big thing besides the AI is residuals. I've had I've done projects for TNT and Comedy Central and a few other networks. I get those residuals, but every once in a while somebody will say, "Hey, I saw you on such and such online program or whatever," and I'm like, I know somebody's fucking making money there, and they don't want to pay that or pay
platforms.
Platforms, exactly.
What they do, they sell it to themselves.
Right. It's all about platforms now. And the reality is, it's your talent, it's your image, and it's your art. Absolutely. So you have a right to control how it's utilized, who uses it, and how you're compensated for it. It's a bottom line thing.
It's kind of scary if you're an actor to worry about that. This is something that is inevitably coming. I mean, it's not like maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. It's coming. And you guys, you're right there. So usually there's two sides to every story, but as far as I have seen, it really, really sounds like the studios are just really greedy and just don't want to pay the fair share.
Yeah, it's crazy when they come out with these earnings reports and they beat earnings reports, but they don't seem to have enough money to pay the actors. Paramount lost more money in the last quarter than if they would have contributed to pay residuals on what the actors are asking for the next 10 years.
It's crazy.
Oh,
that's fucking greedy. That's crazy. It's crazy. The other thing that's not mentioned is, about the deep fake stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other part is if they have Angelo's image and he doesn't want to do a project, but they've captured his image, they'll get another handsome guy but has the same body type. They'll deep fake his face on it and put him in a movie, right? Or Ari Serfotti, same thing. And the deep fake stuff is being regulated because it could be very dangerous. But in an art sense, we
didn't mention this, but Foti is actually fake. That's not a real guy. That's AI.
Foti is AI.
It's got to be
artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence from Kalimnos.
Hey, they're doing great post-production in Greece right now, so it's Greek AI, so I believed it. I like it.
So, Peter, now that you brought that up, let me bring this up. You're the right guy to ask this. So, most recently, a show called Maestro Blue got a green light from Ted Sarandos and Netflix, which was, I want to say it was Mega Channel or one of those channels that were doing it. Right. How do you think now with the, because I know you're in Greece and I know you're working on a lot of stuff. You've been going back. We were actually hanging out in Greece.
Yeah, we ended up in Santorini. Yeah,
Santorini. We were together with Eva and Alina and Olivia and everybody.
It's great.
And how do you think? I mean, I think to me, I look at it as a good thing that a show like that now is on mainstream Netflix. Will that give an opportunity, you think, to newer like us people, newer people who are working on projects? Do you think if they look at that and say, hey, the Greeks are making a good product, do you think, is that a good indication for things to come?
I definitely, I know it's a good indication, and Papakalyatsis who made it, he's the main lead, the director, the creator. He's very smart. And I mean that in a good way, but also in a, Elliniko way, I'll put it that way, because he took what Greece has to offer for next to nothing, which is its beauty, its landscape, its scenery, all of that. The only thing I don't like about the show, it's a basic trope. It's a young girl, older guy kind of thing. That's done all the time, but so be it. It's storytelling, his call. And they said, okay, we're going to wrap this story in this beautiful place. And it looks great because Papakalyatsis went out of his way to shoot it so it could travel internationally. That's what we call it.
Right.
It's not for Greeks. It's with Greeks. So what ends up happening is you got a show that looks really good and looks expensive, You also have a show with the basics, the attractive young woman, the older handsome guy, some intrigue, some interesting characters, a few big names like a singer in that, and so on.
Addis Alexio, yeah.
Right. And then you've got a great formula that is extremely user-friendly. And the only negative I have, because it does open up doors, and I can get to that in a little bit, is the dubbing sucks. The English dubbing sucks.
Yeah, if you understand Greek, you see where it's right off. Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, man.
It's horrible.
Wow. Because my wife was not Greek, but she understands it quite a bit and knows when I'm talking about it other Greeks, so I got to be careful. She watched it a little bit. She goes, "What kind of a show is this?" And I go, "It's a lot more serious than the dialogue sounds, because you could say something in 10 different ways, and it could mean 10 different things, and it's the same thing you're saying." Right. So yeah, the dubbing sucks, but I watched it in Greek, and I watched it for a lot of reasons because I'm a producer now. And bottom line is, it absolutely opens up interest. The Greeks have to knock on the door correctly. That's the difference I would make. It doesn't open the door automatically. There aren't people running around going, "Give us Greek shows," because, and this is something that I talk about when I have meetings. I've had a lot of meetings, Zoom, and I'm going to be in Greece in January with the networks and a few platforms. We think that we're the shit. And many times we are. And we back it up. And we've got the history, we've got the art, we've got it all. Which means there's older generation, maybe not so much now because there's some really great young filmmakers, are basically saying, "Έλα, αυτό που κάνουμε δεν χρειάζεται παραπάνω, θα έρθουν σε εμάς. Whatever we're doing doesn't need anything else, they're going to come to us." So what happens before Maestro, Angelo? Not one fucking show on any of the platforms by a Greek producer, director, or production company that didn't have some other interest. The movie Beckett that came out a while ago with Michael David Washington.
Oh, the one they shot in Athens, yeah.
That was a Spaniard that shot that. And it wasn't even about, Greece in the right way. Everybody in Greece looked dirty and were criminals. But the bottom line is it maybe points people in the right direction, Greeks and non-Greeks, but you got to open the door yourself, man. You got to tell good stories.
It's interesting you say that, Peter, because when you look at Maestro Blue, they check all the boxes off. The dad's a drug dealer, mom's having an affair with the doctor, the daughter's having an affair with the older teacher, the son's having a gay affair with his buddy. Haris Alexio singing in the background. I mean, a great show. Like, the Greeks know how to check the boxes off, so it's...
They're learning. Let's put it that way. They're learning. I'm because of my fluency in Greek, and I was born in Greece, right side of Sparta, not far from Ange's town. I have street cred in a way. Plus, my Greek isn't, my English is not, my Greek isn't that English accented, Mm-hmm. So I have a little bit of street cred because in these meetings, when somebody says, "Άκου τώρα, είσαι Αμερικανάκι, δεν ξέρεις," τους λέω, and I play dumb. I'll say, "Επειδή δεν ξέρω, δείξε μου να μάθω. Show me." Και μετά λένε, "Γιατί, πόσα προγράμματα παίζουν στα platforms, πες μου, πόσα έργα που δεν έχει αγοράσει κάποιος άλλος και έχει αλλάξει είναι ελληνικά που παίζουν, πες μου γιατί θέλω να τα δω." Right? You want to respect, but you don't want to take the bullshit on face value. And I don't have the inclination, and Angelo knows me very well, I don't want to fuck around. I don't want to chase, I don't want to beg. I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I pray that we can work together because I want to work with amazing Greeks like Angelo, and there's a ton of them, here in town, as well as in Greece. But, and maybe there's a little political, but I'm a big Barack Obama fan. And my favorite thing he's ever said is, "We are the people we've been waiting for."
That's well said.
Right there.
We are the people we've been waiting for, which means I came from a small village, not a town, a village, to cold ass Chicago, which I was asking my parents, why didn't we go Florida or California? And with nothing, they didn't have educations. And then I ended up going to college, played a little pro ball. I'm doing what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. I have a debt to them, don't I? Don't we all?
Mm-hmm.
We
right?
honor our heritage,
Honor our heritage.
families.
And here's the thing: είμαστε τη diaspora, right? So I don't want to take it for granted. I have goosebumps when I think about it. I want to tell stories that cross over. I told Angelo this. My goal is to build a bridge between this side and that side, not an airport. It's not an airport because an airport, planes fly in, they fly to another airport. They leave, they go to another airport. A bridge has two destinations. That means people from there coming here to work and to learn and vice versa. I work with a producer named Tibor Tekacs. I've done 2 films with him. We're writing 2 films for Greece, and one of them will actually be, we'll start working on next year. My dog will be in it, by the way. Can't say what it is. But Tibor has done 5-6 films in Bulgaria. He's worked all over. He was the director on Black Warrant, as a matter of fact. We shot that together. And bottom line is, he knows how things are done over there. He knows how things are done over here. He got discovered by what's his name? Raiders of the Lost Ark director.
Lucas?
No, Lucas Spielberg.
Spielberg. He got discovered by Spielberg.
Yeah.
So he knows what the fuck's up. And he's the kind of person you want to bring over there, just like that guy right there, Angelo, who did the comedy show a few years ago in Athens, which was fucking sold out, was amazing. Angel tell it better than I can. I wasn't there. I saw the doc that they did, and they're hungry. They want to know,
Be part of it. Yeah.
And if we can't do that, it doesn't have to be big gestures. It could be little ones. But the bottom line is, it's our responsibility. I have a debt to pay. And I don't know if I'll ever repay it when my father worked 3 jobs to support us with no education, no language.
Yet they did it. And they did it.
They did it.
They did it. And
at Greek Islands at night, and then a construction labor on weekends.
Wow.
And so I'm going to have a hard time if I don't get a job off an audition. Get the fuck out of here. I can't stand that.
Let me ask all you guys, because even what we're doing here with Connecting Greeks, it's keeping the wheel going. Like we highlight people of a Greek heritage everywhere in the world. And we bring them on as guests. And I've been fortunate enough to travel the world and meet nice people like you guys. That's how I met Forti and Adi. That's how I met you. And now look, we're doing this. Without making it a huge thing, how important is it for our generation to pass it on to the next generation? Because I kind of worried a bit about whether they love Greece and they love Greek food, but do they? I think maybe because our generation's different, we're born, here. We may not, like, I find myself sounding like my dad sometimes. Like my daughter.
Could I throw in a quick opinion? And Peter, you could say if you agree, disagree.
Please.
My honest opinion in doing the Greek thing that we've been doing for 20 plus years now. The Greek culture is gonna fade in America, and the reason I say that is because once you become assimilated into the culture that you're in, you just no real reason other than you kind of acclimate into what you're surrounded by. So our kids aren't going to be as Greek as we were, and their kids are probably not going to be as Greek as they were. And the chances of even marrying a Greek is kind of slim if you're in a different place. So I had this conversation with some people, and 2 to 3 generations, there might not even be barely any Greeks. That's why it's so important, as you said, Angelo, that whatever we can do, and you two guys, Angelo and Peter, I mean, you guys are doing great things to keep that culture going. And, us with the podcast and things like that. Yes, everybody needs to do something. And because I really do believe that there's not a long timeline of our culture to last the way we know it.
Right. I appreciate what you're saying. And sadly, I agree that if we don't take action, but that's every culture that's come to the U.S. Yep. Here's the big difference, though. And this is a point of pride for me, and I think you'd all agree. Does anybody not like a Greek or know a Greek restaurant? Except maybe a Turk, if you will. But even they want to connect, right? Anywhere you go. It's like everybody says, oh, my neighbor was, Papalexopoulos. By the way, that's Ariana, and that you guys had her on, which was a great interview. You got to have her brother Alexi on too. He's quite the filmmaker, and he's working. One of his films, I think, is going to be picked up by a major studio. Anyways, so here's the thing. I call it. I describe it this way because people ask. They say, "What do I need to do?" I say, "Look, think about it this way." And I come from farmers. There's a field over in the distance, and it's hard fucking earth. It's like concrete, right? And all the fields around it have been, planted and plowed and all that. But that field over there, nobody wants to fuck with because it's hard. Until somebody comes along, gets their hands in the soil, digs the shit out of it, and the seeds that go in there grow bigger than anything else because they did the heavy lifting in the beginning. That's what I'm trying to push. I'm asking people, do the heavy lifting with me. That bridge needs a lot of planks, right? Angelo, we can't talk about it right now. I'm pitching a show that's going to feature Angelo in Greece in January. I'm also pitching a show that's about a family that has 2 restaurants, one in Athens, one in LA. We're going to shoot every episode from both places. So you're going to get to hear about what's going on in the world from 2 different perspectives. That's also going to be a pitch. There's going to be a marijuana comedy that takes place in Greece that I'll be pitching, and so on, and also a TV show, a faith-based film as well. So the reality is we're not dumb. Look around, right? And as I said before, and I try to remember it every day, we are the people we've been waiting for. And the younger generation, it's been easy for them. Yes, they get it all. But here's the difference. They're fucking great at social media. Look at you guys. I love your program. And it's 3 amazing, talented guys who just said, fuck it, let's do it during COVID, right? And look at the people you've had on. Shit, that's amazing. Right?
Yeah, well, it was easier during COVID.
We
were all trying to figure out what the fuck to do during
Nobody
COVID.
was doing anything, Peter. We were just like, I got to do it.
The best thing that not the best thing, but at the tail end of COVID, I ended up doing a film with Riz Ahmed, and we went all over California. And it was like the traveling circus, intense. You couldn't go anywhere. You had to wear masks and all that. And it was great because what did they want? They wanted people that did their work. And I know this is, again, a little political, but get fucking vaccinated. You're protecting other people, not just yourself. Stuff like that. Again, it's a choice. I get it. But I'm very liberal with my swear words and with my thinking. Let's put it that way. Bottom line is, though, we have to go over and say, Ela mazi, das kapsume mazi. We're going to dig together. Fuck. And again, don't chase, don't beg. There's people in this town and that it didn't work out working with them. I'll put it that way. Right? Bury the dead, move on.
It happens.
Right? Or you text somebody 2 times, you don't hear back from them. They're telling you how they want to deal with you. Move on. But we're Greeks. Everything's passionate. We're each other's best and worst enemies. Sometimes we got to get out of our own way and say, and I'm the worst at it. Ella, Angelo, you must have spartiates. We don't fucking forget anything or anyone.
Even if we get Alzheimer's, we don't forget our grudges.
Yeah, exactly. My wife, who is now here's I'll bring it to this. My wife's parents were both deaf. Her father passed a few years ago. Her mom is still with us. By sharing what I had through my father before he passed, when he met her family, my mother-in-law now cooks unbelievable galactoburico, unbelievable pasticcio, unbelievable moussaka. Why? Because all I did was be who I am and what I am, right? Now, I'm a little bit more passionate than most, but that's fucking okay. That's who I am. But the reality is, just let people into our world, but go into theirs a little bit too. And as you said, Ari, don't forget where you came from. We had a project which didn't work out at Disney about the 1821 revolution. It wasn't a good fit at Disney. With this company I'm working with now called Feel Good Entertainment. And they wanted to take the politics out of the project. You can't take the politics out of it because Turkey is a big market for them. I get the business. Now, a Greek in Elada, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, maybe I'm assuming, is going to go, Tisto dialo. Da pumoti borume yatus Turcos, which is may or may not be true, but the
it's a fact at the time. For 400 years, but, you can't refute it.
But here's the thing: at that time, and most of us who were taught about the revolution weren't taught. There were some fucking shitty Greeks back then, and there were some really good Ottoman Turks who thought we got to let these people be who they are. This is history. There were also Russians involved. There were also Italians involved. Blah blah blah. And guess what? There were a lot of Americans who came to the revolution from here because the American Revolution was only 50, 60 years detached from 1821, right? And their sons and daughters came to fight with the Greeks. But everything you see about it in Greece or elsewhere is Kolokotronia on the white horse, who I admire, with the white flowing hair and the beard and the fustanella that's never dirty going into battle, right? That's the backstory. But what about a family going through the war? How do they react, right? And all the different things that happen there. And then on top of that, we're also working towards a film about Bubulina, who, as I like to say, is the fucking real Wonder Woman, if you will, from Greece. That's a fucking story for the day.
That's
right?
a good story to go to.
Great story.
That'd be cool.
But Peter, let me ask you, because we're getting to the point in time. You were part of this thing. So, guys, there was a soap opera star from Greece who came to Hollywood, okay, and was telling them in Greece these big films. But this guy ended up working at a Greek restaurant. That's not there anymore. Peter, I think you played. Did you play the guy, or you were?
I played the guy. Played the guy.
So he played the guy. It's a true story.
It's an absolutely true story.
A big soap opera star in Greece.
Right.
Kept telling them, I'm doing shows with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And it's like, Pine masum senta piata.
Yeah. Now, back then you didn't have social media, right?
There's no social media.
He was talking to the newspapers and sending them pictures. He's going to work with this guy and this guy and this guy. And he wasn't. He wasn't. And on top of that, he actually ended up shooting a porn film that was based on Pirates of the Caribbean. So a friend of mine, his name was Emmanuel Todorov, he worked at that restaurant. The restaurant was called Le Petit Greek in Larchmont, and basically saw what was going on with all these crazy Greek characters, and he wrote a TV show that ended up producing with them. And I played this Greek guy, and basically we shot a pilot, fucking great, but it didn't track. And this was going back maybe.
I fucking loved it, dude. You played the guy.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. We even had a Bond girl in it that was in one of the Bond movies. Anyways, the bottom line is it was a different perspective on what you expect to find at a Greek restaurant from different people that aren't necessarily all Greek. And it was just a lot of fun to shoot, but it was kind of a lesson into how we sometimes convince ourselves in a way that's not accurate, not helpful, all of those things. And then we wait around and wonder why the phone doesn't ring. You got to go and get it, is what they say, right?
I remember watching it. You'd sent me the link, and it's funny, guys, because I asked Peter and a few other people, and this really happened, where they like you said, it was before social media. So this guy's, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Right. Like boxing the tables and Peter parts patates.
And then he meets a casting director at the restaurant,
right?
Recognizes her, and then he brings her lunch on the studio lot, and he talks his way in. At the restaurant, he's being charming and all that with boyfriend, husband, whoever it was, and then he shows up. He's like, "What? I brought you lunch that you liked. I made it very special. The whole I'm going to charm you thing." And she's like, "Okay, bro." And here's the thing. That's okay. Forgiveness over permission, right? But if that's not working, what are you going to do, about it? I want to make it. Yeah. And I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it again. but with a different take on it. Regardless,
I love the story. I told you I love that storyline.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Oh, it definitely
Like, a
is.
soap opera star in Greece comes to America, can't get arrested in Hollywood, but he's still giving him updates that, hey, I'm working on a new fucking Spielberg, James Cameron blockbuster.
I looked up the articles they wrote on him. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. That was
that's
crazy.
balls out.
I think that would be
balls
a
out.
great show.
Well, look,
Let me, if I may, Ange, and I don't know what you are guys with time. Just a real important thing that I guess you could say is part of my mission, but Greeks have always led the way in this world in certain ways, by action, by example, by whatever, right? And for what it's worth, we still can if we choose to. Easier said than done, right? There's like I said, there's a bunch of Greeks that I work with in Greece. Some of them are trained here. There's a new guy that just came on the team for Feel Good Entertainment, which is the company that I represent as an independent producer here in LA. His name is Nick Lambru, trained at Emerson, worked at Film Nation. Now he's going to be assisting me and us with the projects we're working on. But he understands that we can do so much more, and he wants to learn how, right? So when Angelo went to Greece and did his comedy act, there were a lot of comedians there, right, Ange?
that was a lot.
Yeah, and they were like, tell me more, show me, whatever. Great.
And now it's taken off in Greece. It's really
taken off in a big way, exactly.
Yeah.
So can we do more of that? Sure. Do we do it only when we have vacation? Most people. I don't know. I mean, I've reached out to the church and said, look, why are all these faith-based films by these other Christian faiths out there? We're not doing shit. Now there's a possibility we might put something together with them. I don't know if there's an easy solution, but it's the obvious one, you know? Don't take ourselves for granted.
Oh, it's well said.
Share what we're good
Well said.
at. And don't be afraid to be proud about it, but be honest about it too, right? I want to do one thing really quick. I hope you guys don't mind, because it's incredibly important. I want to say three names, okay? It's Nikolaos Panayotis Marafatsos, Panayota Karagiannis Marafatsos, Dimitra Marafatsos. That's my father, my mother, and my sister. They've all passed. They were everything to me, bless you, and they would never anywhere in this media world of exposure and showing people what the fuck you're eating like they care, except if you're Angelo Tsaroukas and you're promoting a place, because that's his platform. I don't want to be insulting to you, Ange.
No, it's okay. I just did it again today.
Don't do shit saying, look at this Melizano Salata over here, you know, kind of thing. They've been they're everything to me, along with my wife, and their names have never been said in any public way. And I wanted to share them and to thank them and to thank you, gentlemen, as well. All I can say is this company I'm with, I'm representing, Feel Good Entertainment. We had two big shows that they launched in Greece. They're the number one distributor of film and cinema in Greece, working with Sony and Paramount and all of them. Now they've branched out into production. That's why I'm going there in January. We're pitching to Greek networks and international platforms from there to do productions in Greece, as well as co-productions, some of it here, some of it there, and so on. Because guess what? The platforms are taking over. The networks over there are saying, okay, we have to have presence, or we're going to lose. You know, you can watch it on your phone and not have to tune into Antenna or whatever it is. So they're saying, okay, show us. But guess what? The old guard doesn't want to let go. So it's digging that, you know, that hard earth.
I dig the hole.
Which is worth it, right? And I'm lucky. I have an advantage. As I said, I make fun of it a little bit. Είμαι το Αμερικανάκι. Δεν ξέρω. Γιατί δεν μπορούμε.
We all are.
Έλα, ας το κάνουμε. Θα δοκιμάσουμε. Θέλεις να σου φέρω χρήματα να κάνουμε δουλειές. Δείξε μου γιατί δεν μπορούμε. You know, my friend Michalis Kalambidis, who did the show Soul Daughters, and I'm name dropping because I should. Soul Daughters is Psychochorus in Greece. That's one of the shows Feel Good did. And our co-writer, whose name is Penny Panayota Philaktaki, the owner of Feel Good, Irini, το όνομά της ξεχνάω πάντα, Irini Suganidou, she's the top person in that company, a fucking badass Wonder Woman. I met them a while ago. We started talking, blah, 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 before, you know, all this craziness with COVID. But the bottom line is, they're like, let's shake some things up, you know? And they did Soul Daughters for next to nothing. But if you watch it, you're going to say, is this another Maestro waiting to happen? And it's not about that theme. It's a period story about what they call psychocores back in the day, the 70s. They took young women from the small towns, put them in rich families in Athens, and they became indentured servants, concubines, whatever you want to call it. Shitty stuff, right? So Penny and Michalis wrote a story about 4 sisters, and the show's blown up, right? But it's not, in my opinion, over-the-top soap opera-ish like you get, which means an international audience might get into it, you know. But and then along those lines, write that shit in Greek too. I get all the scripts in Greek because I read Greek and I write Greek, right? Get it. Send me the script in Greek, because you lose something if you think you're writing for a Greek audience or an audience with Greek in it and so on. Not that I want to say a whole lot about it. Ange and I talked about it. Saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 the other day. I know they had a lot of fun making that movie, but one of the things that drove me the craziest is a Greek from Greece speaking to a Greek from Greece without Americans around speaking in English. You get it?
Yeah, they could have kept it more Greek, is what you're saying.
Subtitle that shit.
Yeah, just subtitle
They're in
it
Greece.
so it's more realistic.
Subtitle, you're in Greece.
Subtitle that shit, right?
I agree.
You know, and again, they had a great time making it. We're not here to talk about that, but stuff like that. So
Maybe
we stick to our guns when our lives depend on it. Well, guess what? Foti, you said it. Aris or Foti, I'm sorry, with the hat.
Hi, Ari.
You're Ari, you're Foti, ignore me. You said it. How do we hold on to stuff? Stick to our guns, right?
We have to.
I don't know if I can say it any better than that, you know, and have some fucking fun, man. Life is too short.
Too short. I agree.
Right?
Well, look, those are good words, Peter. And I mean, look, actor, producer, humanitarian, husband, father of a beautiful
dog daddy.
So we're getting to that time now, Peter.
Oh my God!
It's been a great
chat.
chat.
You blow up a Greek's head.
We've been talking a lot of stuff. We usually ended, Peter. Forty has a few questions.
Sure.
To know you a little bit better before we say goodbye to you, but thanks. It's been a great chat today, buddy. I think we've had a good talk. A lot of people watching this podcast will get a lot of information probably that they didn't know about before. So, Forty, it's all about you.
Peter, love listening to you.
Thank you, brother.
Very inspirational, especially for us who are in the trenches, sometimes saying to ourselves, is this worth it? Is there anyone listening? You know, it's very inspirational. We don't need just more Greeks like you, Peter. We need more people like you, Peter.
I appreciate that very much.
You know,
thank you. Let me. I don't mean to interrupt, and I'm sorry for doing that. When we started out trying to make the 1821 project, as I call it, about the Revolutionary War, and hooked up with Disney for a little while, one of the things, and I had this perspective. It wasn't as if others didn't, but it was my perspective of if the fucking Greeks of that day, as disparate, resourceless, disjointed as they were, figured it out after 400 years of oppression against one of the greatest powers of its time, the Ottoman Empire. We're going to have a hard time doing what we do. And I'm not saying it's easy. Don't get me wrong. It's a fucking grind, you know. Whether you're a producer, actor, Angie knows this very well. 99% of the time, you do a great job and you don't hear shit about the gig. That's okay. I get to do what I love for a little bit. But if they figured it out and we can't, come on.
Yeah.
Poti, before you ask any of those questions, I just want to say, Peter, if you ever leave acting, man, go into politics because you're very motivating. You're very motivating. I like listening to you.
I'll play a politician.
I feel
good.
I feel good with when you're saying all this stuff, and it's inspiring. So, I mean, it's great that you are inspiring as an actor, but we need some good politicians out there too.
Well, you're doing it. Don't we? Right? That's a whole other podcast. You guys are doing the same thing. You really are. And like I said before, I love what you're doing and the people you've had on there. And I've learned so fucking much.
Right? Well, you're one of them now, buddy. You're one of them now.
Here's the deal.
Look at this podcast, say the same thing about you.
I'm going to go out to a lot. I'm doing it again. I'm sorry, guys. Jim Jerome is one of my producing partners. And he's done major shows. He married a Greek. And so he gets it. But he's a... If you meet his wife, you wouldn't say that. Trust me, she's amazing.
I'm thinking of my ex-wife. Anyway, go on.
There you go. Some ex-girlfriends of mine. But the point is, he gets it, and he knows this industry inside out. And Jim and I are working on 3 different projects right now. And just had a meeting with Father Gary Kiriakou, the new priest at St. Sophia's, the big church here, to just ask questions, explore ideas. You know, he's very progressive in terms of getting the word out. Right, he's a terrific guy. But the reality is, bring those people into your circle, and not just a party way. You know, a lot of Greeks come from Greece, and unfortunately, you see it a lot at LA Greek Film Festival, waiting for somebody to say something, to do something. And I love the folks at LAGFF, but, you know, we all have critique. This could have been done or that could have been done. That's the learning process, right? But are we being proactive ourselves? You know, there's 3 different amazing fucking filmmakers that we're going to try to do projects with that I met at LAGFF. So it accomplished its goal. Dr. Isabella Margara, she's an environmental filmmaker, wants to do a story. And then 2 gentlemen, Panayotis Koudaras and Aristarchos Papadaniel, did a story about a Greek concentration camp survivor. And they did it in such an amazing way. It was crazy. It was crazy amazing. I know them now. I met them. Guess what? I'm going to work my ass off to figure out how we can do something together. Not na perimeno na me paro ne elare pedia. Let's have a meeting about a meeting about a meeting. Fuck that, you know? And that's what happens. And it's not easy because life is xeristine, you know?
Yes.
I'm not smart enough to know better.
Well, let's see now with these questions.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
After listening to you, Peter, in the early part of the interview, made me want to change up some of the questions, because you mentioned early on that playing soccer had an impact on your life back then. And I'm just wondering as well, you know, having said that, being involved in sports, did that also give you some drive in what you're doing today as far as how you handle things? You know, the strategies, the leadership that you present here. So, having said that, favorite soccer team from Greece?
Favorite soccer team from Greece? The Greek national team.
Oh, that's a great political answer.
So you don't. So that means that you don't wear green and you don't wear red. You wear blue.
I wear the color of the day. So if one of those teams is playing, I'll wear that color.
What else? Very
Bravo.
good.
That's a funny
Politician,
story.
I'm telling you, man. Politician.
Good answer, man. You're in the middle.
Here's a great example. Side note, soccer. We won the Euro Championship in 1984, right? Amazing run.
2004.
Is it 2004? Sorry. And we're still living off of that. I'm from Chicago. The Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl in 1984, I think it was. That's why I confused the dates. Still living off that shit. Greeks are talking about the European team, and I'm like, what about now? Right?
It's never going to happen again.
Right.
It's not going to happen again. We saw it. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, but our club teams are very competitive. That's great, you know, and there's a lot of foreign players in there now. So I guess something's working. Anyways, yeah, the sports thing. The singular thing I learned from sports is this, and I believe in the long game. I'm not a quick study. I'm a good study, is what I say. It might take me a while to figure out what I can control, what I can affect, what I can impact, and then it's my job to put all that together, right? That's all we can do. I can't change my height, but guess what? And excuse the expression, I was a motherfucker in the goal. I had hops. I played basketball as well, and you didn't want to come near me in the box. That's why my nose has been broken a million times. And thankfully, my wife is okay with it because I'm not the most handsome guy in the world. But the bottom line is I can control that shit. So I work harder. I work longer. I try to play smarter. What else is different than any other profession we're in, right?
Yeah,
whatever we can control. And try to have fun along the way.
Well, number one, if we can't have fun, then what are we doing?
Why bother? Exactly. We're Greek. Come on, it's part of our DNA.
So here's another question for you, Peter. What drive that you have, what fuels your drive? Is it, are you a frappe or Fredo guy?
A frappe or Fredo? Oh, I'm straight up Greek coffee, man.
There. Same here. Same Greek
coffee.
My
biggest vice is Greek coffee, and if you ask, I'll read your flitzani when you're done.
Perfect.
Yeah. By the way, Lance, do you remember that flitzani when we ate at the Great Greek?
Yeah.
With the wings on it?
Yeah.
We had lunch a while back, and we had Greek coffee, and there were angel wings on the outside of my Greek coffee cup, and I took pictures of that. And I said to myself, "This fucker Angelo stuck with me forever, man. He's an amazing person to have in my life."
Angelos.
And his family, Alina and Olivia as well. Straight up Greek coffee, man.
Speaking of restaurants, Angelo wanted to make us jealous before the interview by going to Avra, which we couldn't be there, to have a nice meal.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of Greek food, Peter, are you a gyro or souvlaki guy?
Souvlaki all the way.
I like gyro.
And I like street souvlaki the best. The guy
if
on
it's,
the
if it's not
corner
a sweaty
with
fat guy with a
souvlaki,
cigarette hanging out his mouth
hell
over
yes,
the grill, it's
hell
not.
yes, hell yes.
And
We were looking for it everywhere when I was there with Eva a few years ago. I was like, I don't want to go in a restaurant. Where's the street guy? Now, there's not as many as I remember the last time I was in Greece, which is a long time ago, but that's my jam right there. We went to Bangkok, Thailand for one of our anniversaries, and all we ate, and we stayed in the city because we wanted to experience that place. It's a crazy place. It's street food.
Wow.
That's all we ate. And it was amazing and a little scary because you're eating stuff that you can't even fucking recognize. And you're like, life's too short, la dofao, kind of thing. Yeah.
And the last question I'll leave you off with, Peter, is, you were sipping a little mastica earlier, but ouzo or tsipro?
Ouzo.
Ouzo.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ouzo. My non-Greek extended family on my wife's side, I think they're a little addicted to it.
Nice.
Let's put it that way.
Nice.
You gotta have that Greekness dominate everything.
Well, I mean,
just send it out there.
Everybody in the family in the right reason, because they're amazing people. They took my dad in, and I would go to Chicago and fly him here, and he would stay at my mother and father-in-law's house, and they took him in, and he passed from colon cancer right around when COVID started. So I ended up being in Chicago for like 4 months, seeing him deteriorate when all the hospitals were closed, and then he passed. But they took him in like family, and they have adopted so much about being Greek in a way that is wonderful. And they're saying, would you just fucking get a project done early enough in Greece so you can spend part of the year there so we can come and stay with you? That kind of stuff,
That's awesome.
So the drive comes entirely from the debt to the people I love, past and present. And I'm an immigrant with a decent education that was brought over by amazing people. And if I can be an example in all the right ways, a good husband, a progressive person, and a good example of my culture and my heritage, then I need to work at it. That's what drives me, And I've made mistakes like all of us, but you learn,
Absolutely.
Guys, I'm not going to let this go. This guy needs to run for office. That's all I'm going to say one more time.
I'll play a politician. By the way, I got to ask you guys a question.
Do it.
I usually ask about favorite meals and stuff like that, right? Or least favorite, if I recall correctly. What are your thoughts on stifada?
Well,
I don't like it.
Wait.
I don't eat Looney Tunes.
I
don't eat Looney Tunes. No.
What's the protein in the stifada?
Yeah, you like the protein. What's the protein?
Because you can
there's some intestinal stuff going on in there.
There's you could do octopus, you could do rabbit, you could do.
I know it is rabbit.
Yeah, I will not eat
stifada.
I'm
down for that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'll do it.
You're now my hero because I'm not down for that.
Well, how about this one? What about pikti? Have you guys ever had pikti?
No. What the hell is pikti?
It's basically animal fat that's like become like gelatin.
That's also Futty's nickname.
It's like and you just spread it on bread. It's tasty.
What up, Pikti?
Yeah, man, we got some crazy.
Oh my God! Oh, you had me at Pikti. You had me at Pikti. Yeah, exactly. By the way, how are you guys about kokoretsi?
Love it.
Yep.
Eat it.
Love it.
What?
I can eat it.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I'll eat it. Chicken, beef, shrimp, deliosa.
I'll dip my
favorite.
Ange, I'll dip my kokoretsi in patsa.
Look, you stick to your pikti.
Too late. Why don't you love kokoretsi? Sweetheart, little fucking dog is so chill, but anybody at the door, that's my system. Lets us know. Yeah. You guys have been amazing. Can I share? I like to do this for the right reasons. People want to feel big and say, I know this guy or that guy. I don't do autographs. I don't ask for pictures. That's not who I am. Somebody wants to take one with me. That's great. I'm honored. But I do want to always support the people that are getting shit done in the right way. Angelo, top of the list. And I'm literally going to say a bunch of names right now because I owe it to them. I just did a play called Women of Zalongo about the Suliotises, an amazing cast, like 9 or 10 women and me, one guy. I played a bunch of parts. Wow. But it was about the women. It's not about the guy roles, right? And then I had somebody from the press say, but why is there not more about the guys? Because the guys didn't fucking jump off the hill, you know? Sometimes we just don't get it. Anyways, Maria Comines did that play. She wrote it and put it together. Amazing attorney in LA, Carol Contis. Ariana and Alexi Papaluxopoulos, I talked about. Katerina Hoya Fredrickson, producer. I did a film with her, played at the LAGFF, almost won an award. A good friend by the name of Alexander Georges won the award. So I got to mention him. Patricia Cara, who you guys have had on there. We grew up in the same neighborhood in Chicago.
We love Patricia.
Amazing filmmaker out of New York, Leslie Dimitriadis. I'm working on a project with her. Dina Romios, I think you've had on. Is that correct?
Had Dina on. Yeah, of course. Dina.
Shelly Papadopoulos.
Constantinos Argyros to LA, yeah.
Shelly Papadopoulos.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm going down these names. I'll tell you in a second.
All been on here.
Dimitra Corey.
Yeah, we've had her on too. Figure skate.
Do you know Akis Konstantopoulos? Do you know that? He's a DP. He DP'd Jesus Revolution, DP director of photography, and the show The Chosen. Fucking amazing. I did film with him. Nicholas Frangias, he just came to LA. Musicals, that kind of thing is his thing. And Anna Rezan.
Anna.
She's been on with her movie My People. Yeah, Anna too. We're friends with Anna.
Yep. You know who's really progressive, Ange, and maybe you guys should reach out to him, is the Consulate General here in LA. Ioannis.
I met Ioannis. I hung out with him. Nice guy.
I've gotten to know this guy. He's fucking amazing. And
nice guy.
He gets it. He really gets it. So maybe that would be a good get. Why am I sharing this list with you guys? Because most of those people you guys have had on your program. So guess what? You're fucking doing it right.
We're doing it right, brother.
Thank you.
Well, look, we got to wrap it up, guys. We got to wrap it up. It's been a great hour. We've been over an hour, but it was good.
I got to say,
up.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for indulging me.
Not the last time, Peter.
You truly are one of my favorite guests because what you stand for, how you stand for it, the way you speak, what what drives you, all that stuff is so close to us and close to our hearts, and we appreciate that.
I get paid to cry on camera. Now I'm going to do it for free.
We're going to vote for you.
Thank you.
We're going to vote for you.
I'm going to be a campaign manager, man. You have to do it at some point. We need somebody who can do something in this country because, you know. So
I do know, but we don't need anybody to tell us. We know, right?
Right.
And I'm sorry I keep belaboring the point. It's not easy. It's fucking hard, man. I was in a Zoom meeting with somebody in Greece who didn't know I spoke Greek because I spoke to him like this. And he turns to the other guy and he says, Tileo Malakas.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So I basically had some fun with that. So teach me, what did you say? I'm trying to learn Greek. What does that word mean? I'm sorry. How did you say it? What is it? It is nothing. I was talking to my friend. It is okay. And I switched to Greek and I go, γι' αυτό έχουμε προβλήματα.
Yeah.
Γι' αυτό δεν έχει έρθει κανένας να κάνει πρόγραμμα στο Hulu, στο Amazon, στο Apple. Τώρα, θέλεις να δουλέψουμε μαζί? Do you want to work with me? Or do you want to just keep doing the same thing? It's not
yeah.
Right?
Good.
Well,
I love that.
Guys, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
And
thank you.
All the people I listed, I work with, and you guys get it. Please keep doing it. And let me know how I can help. Any one of those people that you haven't had on, I know would love it. Carol Contis is great. She's an attorney who's been in this industry a long time. She could talk to you about what's happening. She's international. She's doing some work with me. But people like that, and the filmmakers in Greece will watch this because they are dying to learn, what do I do? How do I do it? And if we're sharing that, that's all that.
Well, I mean, this is connecting Greeks, right? And Foti, I mean, everybody that has to do with our culture. I mean, they're in automatically. Right. And I'm so happy, Ange, that you invited Peter. I'm fighting off like the worst cold ever.
I know, but after you're feeding off on it, so
I'm so into this. I told the guys before we started, Peter, that I'm going to kind of sit on the sidelines because I just feel horrible. But like I said before, this isn't just because you're a guest. You truly do touch our hearts with everything that you said, and I was
not
in
doing
the
anything,
conversation.
man.
So
Just doing
thank
my
you,
part.
thank you once again.
By the
And
way, I would have hoped you would have had a bowl of abuelemono. Excuse me,
I
guys.
need it.
Let me just,
Yeah.
That's on that next episode.
Yeah,
guys.
So-
What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out when it's time to make announcements about certain things because a lot of stuff is under wraps. And it would be amazing because after all, we broke the story about the SAG after strike possibly ending, right?
yeah.
Put that on the website, right? I'm going to reach out to Ange when it's time, and then we'll make some announcements here if that's
Good.
okay.
That'll be
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
As
I'm going
always,
to use in DC, by the way.
I'm from Boston, but I'm living in DC right now.
I have family in DC, Silver
Oh,
Spring.
you do?
Yeah, so at some point we're going to come visit. We're going to get together,
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
we'll talk about these two guys right here a little bit.
Oh, yeah, all the horrible things I have to say. But
All right, guys. Thank you so
Peter,
much.
thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, brother.
As always, Foti, Angelo, thank you guys. Everybody out there watching and listening, thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to have Peter, all his information, links, everything in the notes. Thanks, everybody out there for watching and listening. Thank you, gentlemen, again. And we'll see you all next time.
Yes,
Bye,
sir.
guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
Elizabeth, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.